What it do, people? You know what it is, and you know what it sounds like. NBA, picking with Pop. Let's roll.
Yeah, great fire, rich famous.
When the winner chicken, then the money long clicking. Those who do it daily, one-on-one, pop-a-vism. Coupe all gray, got the fire badge lit up. Hit the bad line in the air, throwing signals. When the winner chicken, then the money long clicking. Those who do it daily, one-on-one, pop-a-vism. Coupe all gray, got the fire badge lit up. Hit the bad lines in the air, throwing signals.
100,000 on the table, 100,000 in the bank account. I'm trying to get rich. Who else in the building trying to break the house? What it do, people? Happy hump day. You know what I mean? Welcome back to another edition of NBA Picking with Pop. Quick recap. Y'all know how we do. Yesterday, 4 games on the slate. And let's just start with the obvious, right? Like the big stinker. Because I sat right here and I told you guys, I said, I'm going to take the Pels. But I'm looking at that 1.5, a little stinky. And what I say? I said when Vegas feel like calling it in on that bat line and they see all of the money is one which way, what do? And I won't go as far as to say like all the money was on Pelicans or that it was a lot of egregious calls. Because I sat back and I watched some of the game while I was waiting for my one pick of the day, which was the Sacramento Kings, by the way. Yeah, kid, that feeling. Good looking out. I told you they would get their second win. But Buddy Hield, you know what I mean? The Waters, whatever his name is, like Draymond hitting three, like they was down like 19-20 in the first half. Came back in the second half and did not tell you not to come in this house after curfew? I'm gonna whip the skin off your ass. You come in this house, so you think you're gonna disrespect me in this house. And I told y'all, that's why I didn't bet on the game. The Denver game, I was a little shaky, a little nervous. I thought Denver would win, get their second win of the season, back-to-back overtime, but they did win and they did cover if you had Brooklyn with 4.5. Like a lot of people. The spread didn't go up until 5 until later, and then that's why I caught it at, even though I didn't bet on that game, just for the sake of the channel. So that was a win push. Then it went up to 5.5, and if you had Denver with 5.5, then you lost. Last game of the night was the Dallas Mavericks. We had Minnesota thinking that they had a little more rest and, rematch of last year, and Dallas was clearly the better team. That's why I didn't bet on that game either. We bet on the team that we wanted to bet on. So yesterday, 2-2, if you want to count the push with Denver. It wasn't a loss. The lock of the day, ching ching, brings our grand total on the season, as far as the locks, not from Yonkers, but the locks to get you and me, the winner chicken dinners, to 13-8. So we 5 games above 500, and we just hoping to keep the cash rolling. Today, hump day, 11 games on the slate. For the season and total, all the games picking, we 29-27. I just like to be transparent. Keep in mind, I'm not betting on all of the games. All right, let's get to today's NBA action or NBA ticket. 11 games on the slate, a lot of good games too. I got a couple of good picks for y'all, hopefully. And that's the good coffee. We on the second cup. Went to the gym early this morning, about like 8:30. Yeah, kid, see Superman. LA getting 4.5 at Cleveland. Cleveland rocks. Cleveland was giving 5 if you caught it last night. Now I figured it would start coming down. People is taking the Lakers, and rightfully so. I mean, Cleveland, they just come off beating my mob, New York Knicks. They look good. They one of the only undefeated teams with Boston. They playing well. The new coaching staff feel like it's a new energy in the building. Donovan Mitchell, Garland, Jared Allen, even Mobley, they all look good. You know what I mean? They got, I think Strauss is out or whoever, Max Strauss or whoever on the bench. But overall, they look good. Here's going to be a good game. LeBron coming back home. Like, you know what I mean? I'm coming home again on some Kanye West shit. I like Lakers tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if Mitchell and them pull it out. It's not going to be on the big stage because it's not on TNT and it's not on ESPN. That will be the next game that we're going to jump into. But for tonight's game, I think AD is still the best player on the court. Then maybe if you want to say LeBron, but I really don't got him in the top 5, 10 no more. You know, although for his age, people will put him there because he is, you know, committing greatness in front of our eyes. We witnessed, and I think not the game they lost to Phoenix, but the game before that, he put up 30, 10, and he had a triple-double with some crazy shit like that. But I think Lakers the better team. We'll see. I'm going to take the points, though, you know what I mean, with me, and see how we come out. So I like the Lakers in the first game with the 4.5. Next game on ESPN, Boston Celtics at Indianapolis. You know what I mean? The Pacers. Pacers at home, getting 6.5. This is a rematch of last year in the playoffs. And don't talk to me about playoffs because it's only like the 4th game. I just hope we can win another game and then another game. To quote, you know, to quote Jim in that famous rant. Playoffs? I see no real reason to bet against Boston. I'm sure the Pacers will have some motivation, possibly thinking they could have did something, but then they beat them 4-1 last year, some crazy shit like that. I don't see them keeping up. I see the spread going over though. I mean, I see the total 235 going above that. Boston probably going to put up 120 by themselves, maybe even 125 because Indiana can't stop nobody. They can't stop a nosebleed. They can score, and sometimes they seem to have prolific offense. But just like Bill Belichick once quoted before they played the Rams in the Super Bowl, which was the greatest show on turf, and you know, you can't do all that when somebody's playing defense and they guarding and they really, you know, getting up in you. You know what I'm saying? No Porzolini for those that play that game. But I like Boston. Like Boston to cover the 6.5. Next game on the slate, we got Detroit, still one of the winless teams in the NBA at Philly. Philly, I think, beat Detroit like 10, 9, 11, 50, 1,100 times. Like you went to the club 50, 1,100 times. Obviously, Joel Embiid was there. I think at one time, Andre Drummond was on Detroit. Now, you know what I mean? Before he went to Chicago, now he on Philly. Maxey and them, you know, Kyle Lowry, Kelly Oubre, could they come out and cover the spread? I think they could, but I'm not betting that they will today. I like Detroit with the 4. I think Detroit is a good live dog. I think they possibly could get their first win of the season. And I think they fight like hell to get their first win of the season. And if they don't, I think they cover the spread. I think it's a close game all the way down to the wire. I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit is winning in the final minutes of the game and that Philly got to come pull a rabbit out of the hat and win at the end. I see something like that. I see something like that happening. Next game, Atlanta Hawks back at Washington. They just played 2 nights ago at Atlanta. Atlanta was coming off that back-to-back game against OKC. We had the Wizards think the Wizards was getting 7. You know what I mean? And the Wizards won by 2, 121-118. In this game here, quick turnaround. I think the better team still is Atlanta. And I think they come out and they cover the spread. I know they don't really be covering the spread. Last year they wasn't a good spread team. But OKC is a tough team. And they beat you up. They get into your chest. They play D. You know what I mean? Miami's like that. Cleveland and Knicks. You know what I mean? Certain rough teams, they're going to make you understand that you play the game. And so when they play Washington, I think Washington put up like 21 threes in that game. Kuzma is out according to RotoWire. Definitely before you bet, you should be checking RotoWire just to give yourself, some more information. When you bet, you should be the most informed, I believe. You shouldn't make bets before you do your homework. That's also in my betting notes. You know what I mean? But I like Atlanta to cover. I like Atlanta to win. Next game on the slate, Toronto at Charlotte. Charlotte -6. Toronto coming off their first win, beating the Denver Nuggets at Toronto. Now they on the road. I think Quigley is still out. Let me just go to RotoWire real quick. Quigley is out. I think he's been out though. There's Toronto right here. Quigley is out. Scotty Barnes is out. Surprised the spread is still, 6 is a lot. They at home. I think it should be more like 7.5. I think they're going to spank I like Charlotte in this one. I think Melo Ball, Bridges, and them come out and win. Obviously, Brandon Miller is out, the second overall pick. This is second season, but I see it close until it's not. I got Cleveland winning. Next game, my New York Knicks, Miami Heat. Is New York in the house? Is Brooklyn in the house? Uptown in the house? Shallon, are you in like everybody? My New York Knicks, they dropped their last one against the Cleveland Cavaliers at New York. It was looking good until it wasn't. I came up here, I had New York Knicks, and I told y'all when I bet with them, I lose. When I bet against them, I lose. So either way, I'm fed up. I'm not going to be betting on this game, but you do see me wearing the Miami Heat hat. I think Miami win this game. I know they started off with the stinker against Orlando. Then they came out and beat them. I don't know who they beat, but then they beat Detroit. They didn't cover the spread. They was at home. Miami don't really give it they all at home. It was the ugly unveiling of Dwayne Wade and, you know what I mean, the Flash, trophy and statue and shit. It looked horrible, by the way. A lot of people has been getting on whoever was the creators of that whole thing. But I think this game going to hit different. One, it's been a big rivalry in the NBA for a long time. If you know, you know. But then two, in the back office or on the underline is Jimmy Butler and Karl Anthony Towns. I won't say it's beef, you know what I mean? Beef is when you know what I mean, ain't safe up in the streets and when you need, you know what I mean, to go to sleep. And when I see you, guaranteed to be in ICU. That's a big reference. But beef in the sense that Jimmy Butler was on Chicago. Then he went to Minnesota, played out there. They didn't really like playing out there. And one of the big reasons it was like, Karl Anthony Towns, you're a little softy, you're a little soft, you're a little sensitive. And then he came and ended up playing in Philly and then ultimately ended up going to Miami. I think it's still a little lingering, unsaid things. And I think he definitely want to come out and beat him. Like, oh, yeah, you come to the rival, but we still, we still a beast of the East. And Miami is one of the East teams that out of anybody else been to the finals the most in the last 7 years. They've been there multiple times. Only Giannis and them once. Boston twice. Can't even think of who else went, you know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I mean? I like Miami to win. I don't think the Knicks should be favored. That gives me cause for pause. Last time I think it was Miami was favored by 1 or 2 in the first game of the season with Orlando. We see how that panned out. But I think Miami win today. I'm not going to bet on this game, obviously. Like when I bet with the Knicks, I lose. When I bet against the Knicks, I lose. But just for the sake of the channel, who I think is going to win, I think Miami get another game at home. They stayed at home. Knicks on the road. But who don't like going to South Beach? Next game up on the slate, we got Orlando Magic at Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls getting 5.5. Orlando, they be having their way with Chicago. As of late, I think like the last 5 games or 6 games is 5-1. Orlando way. I know Chicago just coming off that win. We had Chicago at Memphis. We had them as a lock, actually. Here, back home, Orlando coming off on Banco or whatever, Bancaro, I know I'm fucking up niggas' name. Dropped the 50 burger on him. And I think they continue. I doubt if he have a 50 tonight. I see more like a 27, 28, maybe 30, half of that. And I see the team playing well. Orlando's definitely one of the good teams. Last year they had a good record against the spread. They kind of faltered as the season, it's a long season. But it's early in the season, and I think it's a good spot to take them. So I'm going to take Orlando minus the 5.5. Next game, we got Brooklyn Nets at Memphis. Brooklyn just played overtime last night against the Denver Nuggets. They lost by 5, a push for some. For some, it was a loss, as we said in the opening part of the video. Memphis at home, giving 12. Man, I get it. Travel, you at home playing. John Morant. I think this is 3rd game at home. Let me see. Well, it might be 2nd. It's gonna be the 3rd game. So they've been at the crib for a little while. They beat the Magic, lost to Chicago. We had Chicago. Now they playing Brooklyn. I see Memphis coming out, Hulk smashing. It's really I'm not gonna bet on this game either. I don't see. I mean, even though I did like what I seen with Brooklyn last night. I did take a peek at the Brooklyn network, watched them. Claxton, obviously Cam Thomas, Chad Johnson. They got some good pieces. Ben Simmons didn't play. That's no surprise. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come in and people thinking they're going to get smashed because of the overtime, because of the travel, jumping on the jet plane. Like I said, I think the back-to-back or the travel is a little overrated because these are professional athletes getting paid at the highest level, the highest nutritionists, the highest masseuses, and people to help them, get to get the best performance out of themselves. They 1, 2, 3 on the jet plane from New York to Memphis. Like that. I mean, hotel already booked, your massage therapist lady is waiting, But with that being said, I do think Memphis will win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brooklyn backdoor cover if Memphis is up. I think Memphis play tomorrow, actually. They do. And they play the Bucks. I'm gonna scratch that. I'm gonna take Brooklyn. I'm gonna take Brooklyn to cover, Memphis to win. And only because if they up big, they probably going to take out some of their players. And although it was a 20-point lead, 18, 17-point lead with 4 minutes left, Brooklyn's still going to play hard, I believe. Let me just check their rotor wire real quick. We just was on there. Is everybody playing from yesterday? Only person not going to play, Ben Simmons going to play tonight. And Claxton not going to play. But with that being said, I still like... I'm still going with Brooklyn with the points now. I'm going to change that pick. Next game, another big spread. We got San Antonio Spurs out at OKC. OKC minus 12.5. This is an ESPN game. I see OKC coming to dominate. Same thing with Memphis, like I said before I changed my pick. But being on ESPN, the big money maker networks as far as publicized game, national games, you always got to watch yourself a little bit when you're betting on them. And I know I'm getting a little long-winded with the video. Sometimes it be like that. But I'm going to go with OKC. Wouldn't be surprised if Wembanyama put up a fight against home check because they came out 1-2 or whatever, got hurt, etc. He always play him tough. And home check is a big part of their team. So I wouldn't be surprised. But I do see OKC coming out and winning. Last night, part 2. Pelicans at Golden State. This time, Pelicans is underdogs, 2.5. Honestly, what I think is going to happen, Andrew Wiggins might play, so that's why I think the spread is like that. Pelicans is the better team, but maybe they don't got the better system. Maybe they don't have the better coach, obviously, because Steve Kerr is that guy. I think people will be on the Pelicans for a quick rematch, and rightfully so. But I got Golden State coming out and winning again. Fucking up the spread, fucking up people money. I ain't gonna be surprised if Pelicans win, but I don't see that happen. I see Golden State sticking it to them again. Know what I mean? Y'all not nicer than us. Last game of the night before we get to the locks. Portland Trailblazers at the Clippers. Clippers minus 8.5. Clippers have dominated this series. Obviously, you had Kawhi, you had Westbrook, and last few years you had Paul George. Apparently, none of them is walking through that door. But I still think Clippers is the better team, and I like the Clippers. I think they're gonna come out and dominate. They play with tenacity. They play with heart. Ty Lue is the better coach. He is one of the better coaches in the NBA, and I'm gonna roll with that. With that being said. With that being said, let's get to the locks. So for my nigga Bob's on the beat.
Rich famous.
Winner, chicken dinner, money line clicking. Those who do it daily, one-on-one popovism. Cooper Gray got the fire badge lit up. Hit the bad line in the air.
Throwing signals. All right, here go the locks. Not from Yonkers, the locks that get you and me, the winner, chicken dinners. We going with the Lakers. We going with Atlanta. We going with Charlotte. We going with Orlando. And we going with the Clippers. I figure out 11 games, we could get 50% right. I was going to give y'all a 6-pick. If you want to know the pick, I was going to give Boston, but I'm going to leave that game alone. But I was going to put Boston on the list. But that's the 5. Lakers, Atlanta, Charlotte, Orlando, and the Clippers. $100 on the 5 pick, $2,500. Yeah, kid, that feeling, but y'all know who y'all was tuned into. Popovich TV, NBA, picking with Pop. We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic. That feeling, back up in here, one more again. Yeah, kid.